Okay, computer. We're live. Okay, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening. Welcome back to another Dadvocate podcast live show. I'm Lauren, and today, we once again are going to cover some stories that have sparked interest, caused a bit of controversy lately. We're going to discuss some turmoils, some troubles that people have come to the internet asking for help with, and we're overall going to have a pretty okay, decent time. Oh, and my thing is going to yell at me, apparently. Come on, chat box. Load up on my end. There we go. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for that. Everybody, come on in. Get settled in. We are going to be watching a lot of videos, but for those of you who are walking around, getting some work done, getting some chores done, I'll do my best to still visually explain what we've got going on. Hopefully that will help. And we've got quite a bit today. Our opening story is going to be about a woman who has decided to post her and her husband's biggest fight they have ever had to the internet. Might surprise some of you, might not, knowing how the internet is. Hold on, let me try to fix this a little bit. I think we gotta put that more in the center there. Does that feel better? Does that feel a little bit? Feels better to me. Good morning, everyone. Dig your hair today. Thank you. Thank you. I took the pink out. I decided no more pink in my hair. So to everybody who was like, Lauren's a woke libtard, look at the pink in her hair. It's okay. You don't have to be offended and upset and triggered anymore. It's out. It's gone. We gotta plug in these bad boys. We don't want no interference with the audio, okay? Before we get started, how many of y'all are already familiar with blue toilet watergate? Is what I'm calling it. I don't think that that's actually anything that's developed into a popular moniker for this viral event, but who has already seen the woman who is upset at her husband for turning their toilet water blue? I'm curious if anybody's already seen this. If not, we're about to get right into it today. I actually saved this. Oh, thank you, Zachary. Good morning to you too. We love to wake up with a fine dono. Thank you so much. Yeah, y'all actually like immediately started tagging me in this the day it came out. And I did add it to my list, but foolishly, I did not do the thing that you always need to do when you are a content commentary creator, is you save the video. You instantly save it. You don't even give it time to wait and collect likes or comments or nothing. You see the video, you save it. You see something, you save something, as we say in the biz. But I didn't save it. And of course it gets deleted. There are some stitches, some responses, but luckily I was able to find a version of the full video. And I was able to find this through a YouTube channel called Marky or Callum Marky. I don't know if any of you guys are following this lad. Hold on, let me shrink this down. I want to make sure. Okay, microphone's still working. Love it. Yeah, if not, you should go follow Marky, in my personal and professional opinion. A good guy, good guy. He was able to capture all of the video. So through his channel, we're going to see the original video, another deleted update, and then her latest videos on the subject. Once again, if you're just now joining us, we are about to watch a woman who has decided to upload what she has described her and her husband's biggest fight they've ever had in all their years of marriage to the internet. What could possibly go wrong? Hold on. I want to wait for this super chat from Jack. There we go, because it's going to interrupt the video anyway. Thank you, Jack. Says, guess who just got declared a functioning? I'm assuming you meant to say psycho. I can own guns now. Let's fucking go. I will be real, Jack. I have no idea what you mean by this comment. Is it like you're a psycho, but not the kind of psycho that can't have guns, and so that's what we're celebrating? Because, yeah, I'll cheers to that, brother. I think we can all agree a little bit. A good few of us have a couple of screws loose, but that shouldn't necessarily stop all of us from pew-pewing around. I'm glad that you're pew-pewable, my friend. Also, it finally happened. My fake Stanley's handle finally broke off. But instead of just buying another one, I'm just man strengthing it over here. Sorry, that wasn't very feminist. I'm woman strengthing it. There, now I feel 10 times more empowered. All right, I'm yapping. Let's get into this video and talk about blue toilet watergate. Gotta rearrange Marky here. Boop.
If you are someone who's just spent a few hours on TikTok, or you have just seen a few of my videos, you might already be aware that people on TikTok get certain types of nicknames. And it's usually when there's a piece of drama or like a situation on TikTok that's went viral and people don't remember the person's actual name, so they call them the pink sauce lady or the fox lady, you know, of Tattoo-gate. Well, we have a new nickname thanks to this situation that's recently went viral, and it's probably the most unflattering one yet. Because folks, I want to introduce you to this TikToker right here, Jen Lyles, also known as Blue Toilet Water Girl. Yes, that's right. Today we're talking about a piece of drama that has went incredibly viral over the past few days that involves blue toilet water. Somehow. Now, the original video that has caused this has been deleted, but I have managed to get an archive of it, so we can watch through it in just a second.
Thank you, Marky.
But just to show you the type of views that the response videos are getting, I mean, we have one here, 1.7 million views. We have a bunch of them here with 172k, 434k, 3.6 million.
Let's go,
like, yeah,
Emily. Shout out Emily King.
I mean, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the situation. But enough of being vague. Let's actually watch the original video that caused this big uproar.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten into, ever.
17 years. I had forgotten the original length of time that it was, but this is their biggest fight in 17 years. What could it possibly be over?
Okay, right, interesting start. So her and her husband have been together for 17 years, and they just got into the biggest argument
We
ever.
say the same
Straight away
thing.
you're thinking, it's gotta be something big, right? It's probably
Sorry,
not what you're
Marky.
thinking.
We just want to watch it.
Our toilet water. You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am.
Don't you worry. If there's one thing we will do on the Marky channel, is we will tell you when you're overreacting.
Every single time I go out of town, my husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry.
Okay.
You know, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home. Somehow this man got it into his head that, you know what would be really cool is if you put one of those giant blue hockey discs in the back of your toilet water so that every time you flush, the toilet comes out blue. The toilet water comes out blue. Like it's like we live at a 7-Eleven or something.
Okay.
All right, I want to pause here so that we're all on the same page. Like, someone please tell me in chat, is there anybody in chat right now who has never heard of this before? Or, better question, who would be horrified or at least mildly disturbed by seeing blue toilet water? Anyone? Or you could even tell me if it was like past tense, like in the past, your first time seeing it, you were like, what's wrong with these people? It's like what the 7-Eleven reference was very odd to me. Like the only blue liquid that she could possibly imagine is like a slushy. She didn't notice it didn't even go to like a coolant or something. Like she's just like, people are gonna come over and think that we dump slushies into our toilet. Like, they're gonna be horrified that we're wasting so much precious 7-Eleven blue raspberry slush. Never heard of it. Sounds fun. It's just a water. No, because it smells clean. Yeah, so if this is like your first time ever hearing about this, there is something that you can put in the toilet water. I've never heard of it coming in the form of like a brick or a hockey puck, as she describes, putting it in the back of the bowl. What we use, and we use it pretty commonly, I don't know how often you guys clean your toilets, but like, should be about once a week in my opinion. Just get the little scrubber in there, it takes no time. But we have like a little blue spray. It's like you kind of squirt the blueness into the toilet, just kind of makes it smell better. In my opinion, helps lift the debris, so to say. And then you just take the little wand and you give it a whirl. And it's like practically a brand new toilet. Bada bing, bada boom. But if there's something that like releases itself to regularly keep it clean throughout the week, dude, I would love that. I would love that. I just, I really wonder how much. I'm surprised that you could really go your whole life never ever hearing about, you know, just blue toilet water as a cleaner, as a cleaning agent. Or the fact that she thinks that she's going to be judged for it, too. I'm wondering where that came from. Like, why does she think that people are going to come over and be like, what is going on with your toilet? Am I gonna get a chemical burn on my pussy? Like, what? Are my balls going to be stained blue forever? Like, we can't be having this, okay? You need to get rid of it. What does she think people are thinking? Love your commentary, Marky. Again, we're gonna skip back to the video.
Explain.
I go to the bathroom and I'm like, why is the water blue? And he's like, oh, I bought these things to put in the back of the toilet. I was like, what were you doing at the store? Looking at the aisle of all the things for cleaning items for the house where you thought that would be a good idea.
What?
Okay, so it sounds like right off the bat, you know how sometimes people don't actually ask questions to understand? They're really just asking the questions so that they have an opening through which to attack. Have you ever had that happen where like they're asking a question that objectively on paper looks to be a good faith question, but the reality is that it doesn't matter what answer you give, they really just need you to open the door so they have enough room to start knifing you. You know, that's kind of what that was she asked a very good question. Highly recommend that approach, actually. If there's ever something that your spouse, significant other, hell, even work colleague is doing that you don't understand, definitely recommend being like, but why? That was actually like one of my first videos, was the priority egg video. I don't know how many of you guys remember priority egg, but I was asking, like, why does my husband leave a single solitary egg on top of the egg carton? And all these people were explaining, they're like, well, it was from the last carton, and it'll give it a weird wobble and possibly break the egg if you keep it in the carton. So you put it on top of the other carton so that you can remember that that's the egg that you have to use first. It's the priority egg. And I was just like, oh, see that? First I was just like, why the fuck is my husband leaving this egg here? I don't understand. Now I understand priority egg. So you got, if you ask the question, you have to be asking it with the genuine intention of listening and believing and giving, like, allowing for positive intention that maybe there is an actual method behind this perceived madness. But it didn't matter what answer he gave. He gave a good answer. He told her, this is for the designated purpose of cleaning. And that first answer should have answered all the other questions she had. What were you doing at the store to make you think that was a good idea? Well, as I just told you, I was at the store looking for efficient cleaning solutions. And there it was, under the efficient cleaning solutions aisle. Like, you have already given us evidence, so much proof that you have 17 years of a reliable marriage, trusting this man to take after the home while you travel. Why now are you judging his decision making? This is so depressing that you could be married to someone for you could have 17 years of a positive track record and they'll still question you as if you're an insolent moron. Oh my god, that's so depressing. I'm really sad for this guy. I don't like what's going on here with this poor gentleman. And we're not even done yet.
On for a while here.
Like, you're making such a big deal. You're being so dramatic. I'm like, I am not being dramatic.
Yes, you are. He is so right. He is so beyond
That's, yes.
right in this.
So for a month,
What?
I'm flushing the toilet and it's still blue.
Yo, it lasts that long though, for real? That's, dude, and maybe if this was all like a long con to sell whatever these bricks are, excellent marketing strategy. I gotta say, like, amazing marketing strategy. Fully Mad Men-esque shit to come up with a campaign this good. Because I'm kind of getting sold on it. I've just been using the squirty blue. I might have to shove a puck back there. What have I been doing this whole time?
Why is it still blue?
I am complaining about it every day. I'm like, I literally
Every day?
anymore. I cannot live.
I mean, how do you think he feels?
I can't live like this anymore. Every day for a month, you're letting the fact that your toilet water is blue eat away at you, destroy your marriage. And like, guys, you know how this is. When there's like a persistent issue in the relationship, let's be honest, it does tend to affect almost every area of the intimacy, right? Like, I can't imagine that while this blue toilet water situation is going on and she's letting it dig away at her soul every day for a month, just 30 days a slave to the blue toilet water. Like, I can't imagine that they're having the rowdiest sex of their lives. You know what I mean? Like, this is such a big deal now. This is so much more bigger of a deal than it ever needed to be. And I've got to imagine that, like, it's just marinating for her, and by consequence, marinating so deeply for him, because every day she's making passive-aggressive, like, comments like, oh, this water's still blue. And he's just like, yeah, that's the fucking point. Like, every day that goes on, she's thinking in her head, it's been 27 days now and he still is not doing anything about it. It's been 28 days now and he's still not doing anything about it. He can't see how upset it's making me. Meanwhile, for him, he's like, it's been almost 30 days and she hasn't done a lick of research to see that I'm right. Like, she hasn't even once tried Googling how normal this is. Like I know she's clearly feeling frustrated and lost in her delusions, but like, this poor guy has also gotta be like, you've gotta be fucking shitting me about this toilet water, dude.
Like, that's not something people are usually annoyed about.
So literally, like, we're laying in bed the other night and I just go on
What do I
TikTok,
say?
like, how do I empty the back of my toilet tank so I can
Oh my god.
so that I can get rid of this blue water. I literally, like, put in the search bar, how do I empty the back of a toilet tank? He gets up in a fury, like, oh my god, you're making such a big deal about this. When did you get so highfalutin? Blah, 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 blah.
I love how she's putting on, like, the angry voice, you know?
I don't know what that means. When did you get so like something? But that's what I'm saying. Like, everything that I just said true, it has clearly been affecting their bedroom situation. They can't even lay horizontal at the end of a long, exhausting day and relax together. And here's the thing, they always find a way to like play out their situation with like different verbiage so it sounds less bad, right? Like it's never that, for example, it's never that she cheated. It's always, oh, I was just, dating him and then dating him and then dating him again. Like they always find a way to dress it up in a way that it's not. Here she is going like, all I did was like search a little thing on TikTok. No, bitch, you were playing that thing at max volume next to him passive aggressively. I know you were, right? It's not like he's looking over and reading what she's typing into her search bar and getting that mad about it. Okay, I know that I can't prove that I'm right, but you guys know I'm right about this, right? Like we all know that's exactly what happened.
That she's using here to try and impersonate her husband is kind of the voice I imagine her using throughout this.
Changed so much. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Changed so much. Like we live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Like it's 2024. Like what are you doing? Where you think this was a good idea?
Oh my god.
And she just keeps driving it home. I think that's one of the most aggravating things that a person can do during an argument is to keep asking the same question over and over again, despite the fact that you've already given your answer, just in hopes of like exhausting you into changing your answer. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people do that. She just keeps asking, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Bitch, Google it. Like, type it in. Why would people put this product in there? Like, do you think the product was designed just for trolling wives? Do you think that, like, a bunch of guys got together and they're like, let's make our wives divorce us through this very weird and unconventional method of, like, Chinese water torture, driving them insane day by day by having blue toilet water? No, because I guarantee you, like, there's no one else in the world who would lose a wink of sleep over this. And you can tell that it has become such a deeper problem too. It's truly not just the blue toilet water, and I've got to imagine there are probably other incidences, because here he is saying, you've changed. And she goes, no, we just live in a nice neighborhood now. Okay, so it sounds like that was a nobody yes. It sounds like you agree. Oh no, I haven't changed. The situation around us has changed. It's not that I'm a different person. It's that I feel such a pressure to become a Stepford wife that I'm going to literally let any non-Instagrammable detail of our lives influence everything about my self-esteem to the point that it destroys us from the inside out. Like microwaving a peep is what I'm going to mentally do to this marriage. Wait. Someone says the HOA may have rules against blue toilet water. Not a chance on this earth can HOA dictate toilet water. Please. Can it dictate how I live in my house? I cannot see anything like that. This is all typically like outdoor stuff, like where you can park, how high the grass can go, whether or not you can have rock pour or cement pour parking, stuff like that. I don't think HOA, that was a joke. Okay, sorry. If there's one thing that's going to keep happening on my channel, it's me taking jokes way too serious and being very gullible. Okay? Yeah, I was like, wait, has that really happened before though? That would shock me. Yeah, no, there's no HOA law or anything like that. And I've got to say, if I'm the husband in the situation, that the part that would make me the most livid again is the complete refusal, the absolute the weaponized incompetence to not just Google it. The fact that she just keeps asking and asking and just not believing him. Even though he's like, what? Like, I would feel so gaslit at that point. I would be like, what do you mean you don't know why I'm doing this? Like, the packaging explains why I'm doing it. The store had an aisle for why I'm doing it. If you look online, you can see other people taking the same approach. What do you mean? All right, let's watch the rest of this video.
I'd be one of them.
So that night, he emptied the toilet bowl somehow. I still don't know how to do it,
Okay.
and it's great.
Yeah, he sounds great.
Oh my god. So he did it. He did it, you guys. He just gave up. He's like, this is not worth it. Which is so sad. Like, that happens. Okay, this is obviously not something that I can prove with statistics, but I feel like in your average marriage, a man is probably 5 times more likely to do something that he finds completely stupid and does not agree with on any moral or intellectual level at all, simply for the sake of resolving a conflict with just as little issue as possible than a woman is. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. There are tons of things that women are like 10 times more likely to do than a man. You know, I think that women are generally a lot more like compassionate, sensitive in a lot of other areas. But when it comes to doing something literally that they find to be the most pointless thing on the face of the earth, that they would never be caught dead doing if it was not for their wife or girlfriend pretty much demanding it just to get it over with, I would say men are like 5 times more likely than women. I think I can safely say that. Like, a happy Marky looks here.
He actually decided to fucking change the toilet water colour because you were so pissed off about it. He was like, right, fair enough, right, we'll just do it. That is a very thoughtful man right there, that he even pretended to buy into this.
Is it thoughtful, or has he just been broken down after 17 long years of this shit? I know she's saying that it's probably the biggest fight they've ever gotten into, probably because this is probably one of the first times he's actually put his foot down and been like, no, I'm telling you, I'm actually right about this, and I'm frustrated that you're not trusting me to be right about this. He put up with it for 30 long days before finally giving up. Is he considerate, or is he just a victim of of turmoil, quite frankly?
Craziness.
It looks good now in the main bathroom, but not in the master.
Oh no, the blue water. Oh, and it comes back blue. Bloody hell, evacuate the household. It is not safe to live there. So as you can imagine, all the comments on this video and all
Good God. So after all that, here's what the crazy part. After all that, 30 days of her refusing to see his point of view in the slightest, finally it culminates in him bending over backwards and taking a plunger up the butt, metaphorically for her, and going through the process of draining the water and replacing it just for the superficial purpose of it not being blue, but in addition, causing extra cleaning, because now whoever is responsible for cleaning the toilets, might just be him if she doesn't even know how it works, is now going to have to do it manually more often because of this. She completely gets her way, doesn't she? I guess it's still there in the master bathroom, and that's why she's still doing it, but ultimately she gets her way. He concedes, and she still makes a video about it, and she still films it and blasts it all over the internet. Why? Because not every toilet's done. And that's the problem too, is because he conceded, it solidified in her mind that she is right. Not only is she right, but she is so right that she has the right to be furious that he didn't also do it in the master bathroom. Because in her mind, she's saying, well, see, he agreed that it looks better without the blue. So why can't he just go out of his way for this bathroom too? And just obviously, clearly, by the way the video is deleted now, she was not at all expecting that she could possibly have been wrong about this. And it kind of scares me how often stuff like this must just casually happen in marriages. Because you guys, I know, this is not the first blue toilet water incident of their marriage. Not by a fucking long shot. This is not the first time that she has gotten upset about something superficial. Though, maybe it has become more of an issue since they moved into this nicer neighborhood. It's just that he probably is so in the habit of quietly cleaning up after things or changing the way he does things so that she can feel more comfortable, that instead of like practicing the gratitude for this, she's kind of just gotten used to it and begun to feel entitled to it. And I think that the reason this has become one of the biggest fights ever is because he's really starting to put his foot down and say, like, no, this has been a pretty happy 17 years, but I'm not gonna let it turn into me being a carpet for the next 17 years, right? And I think, like, maybe the master bathroom was his way of being like, you can have one. You can have one bathroom where you get your magical no blue toilet water, but god damn it, I'm having something for myself. The master bathroom shall have order. And it's like so stupid that a happy marriage should even have to have these very passive power struggles like this over blue toilet water. And it's also like, if her whole issue from the jump was that the main problem with there even being blue toilet water is that other people are going to judge us and think it's a 7-Eleven, her words. How would that matter if it's in the master bathroom too? He's using your logic still. He's even taking your argument into consideration even now. Even after all this stupid ass back and forth, he's still considering that. Do you typically let guests use the master bathroom? I always considered the master bathroom is more like a for emergency situation, but I don't know. You guys tell me if you let people use the master bathroom in your house. I'm curious, because typically a master bathroom is called that because you have to go through the master bedroom to enter the master bathroom, right? And usually in most events, bedrooms are kind of off limits. I don't know. That's my personal rule. It's like, please don't go in my bedroom. But I don't know. That's just me. There's still more. So after all of this, and after getting quite a bit of backlash on her video and deleting it, she did end up posting an update video.
We have an archive of it.
Hi, it's Blue Toilet Water Girl coming at you. Nick and I have had a wonderful, wonderful marriage. We call ourselves Team Wows. Killing it since 2006.
This is always like, you guys know, the just kidding, we're fine part of the video is there. She has to like explain how, no way, actually we're all good though. Like we're actually the perfect dream couple, guys. You don't understand.
Truly my best friend.
Yeah, so basically this is kind of the route she goes down with this response video.
Okay, guys, you don't get it. Like, I know that I was livid with him over toilet water, but it's okay because we've been best friends for 17 years, so I know that he'll forgive me no matter what bullshit I put him through. So I'm allowed to, guys. You just don't get it.
Answered, but we'll watch on anyways.
We've done big moves across the country. He supported me to quit my full-time job to start my own business, and that went amazing.
I mean, it sounds like this man is perfect.
I love Callum Markey is like loving on this guy. He's even passing the bro test. So it's like this is just not, this is clearly her first rodeo when it comes to just kidding, we're fine videos, or just the internet in general, because the thing to do now, after you've just put your husband absolutely on blast when in the end he was the one who was 100% right and you were 200% overreacting. The thing to do now is to say maybe like things that you've done for him in the past, or like mistakes that you've made in the past or something like that to even it out. I think the worst thing you can do at this point is tell us even more all of the sacrifices he's made for you, because now we're just like, we're not really understanding what's in it for him.
Happened.
In turn, I did that for him. I supported him when
Oh,
he
okay.
wanted to
Here we
quit
go.
his
Here we
job
go.
Very nice.
and start his own business. We've traveled to 22 countries together.
Okay, so you get the point, right? She's really good.
Yeah, I don't understand like what that has to do with anything. Like, okay, so you've traveled a lot. So it sounds like you should be more cultured that there's often blue cleaning agents used in toilets. This is not helping the case.
One of the details to show how good the marriage is. Fair enough. That doesn't really answer what people were saying about the video.
It's like some of y'all have never been married before and never had fights with your spouses. Like,
I hate when they use this excuse. I hear this from so many different partner shamers. Is they come on the internet, they blast their partner for some this and that bullshit. They get their partner absolutely dragged. People are hating on them. It affects their life deeply. And then they want to come on and be like, well, you guys, like, obviously just don't get what marriage is like. Like, this is just a normal part of marriage. Like, everyone does this. And they try to gaslight you into thinking that it's just a normal thing that you publish your fights to the most viral popular social media platform to the internet, public facing. And it's not. It's simply not. If it was so normal, then it wouldn't have these massive reactions when people did it. It's not normal. It's not cool. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, never talk about your problems with anybody. Keep it close to the chest. Hide everything you're going through. Of course, I'm not saying that. But no, this is not just marriage. Like, I hate when people do this. What they just act nasty in their marriages and then try to say like, oh, but every marriage is like this. We all have our ups and downs. Like, no, don't let people convince you that. That's not true. It's not.
It's been hilarious to us.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, there's definitely going to be a lot of people who watch it.
And that's another thing that the partner shamers always say is like, oh my God, you guys are so mad about this. We're laughing. We're having a great time. So like, I don't even know what you guys are upset about. We're loving this. But the problem is that, okay, if it was a prank video that you both filmed together and you were both in on it, so be it. That's one thing. That clearly was not the case. If you're trying to backpedal now and say that the upset that you were expressing in that first video was somehow not real, or that he was in on it, like, girlfriend, you're only lying to yourself, because none of us are falling for the bullshit. He was not involved in that first video whatsoever. Come on.
So like semi-sad to see how low the bar is for some people. At least he doesn't cheat on you. Is that your bar? Is your bar at least he doesn't cheat on you? Whatever. I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay, so she's annoyed because people said, like, at least.
Okay. I feel like she just wanted to somehow throw in some buzzwords of like victimhood here somehow. Is we talk about this a lot. This is just one of the fallacies that people use. Whenever someone gets called out, usually they'll pull the card of like, well, yeah, I said something that pissed a lot of people off, but now I'm getting death threats, so that makes me the victim. That's basically what's happening here. Is it's like, yeah, I took my very well-behaved domestic engineering oriented husband for granted and blast him all across social media and spent an entire month refusing to hear out his side of things, placing absolute distrust, annoyance, and presumption of basically presumption of idiocy onto him for a month straight. But now you guys are insinuating that maybe he could cheat on me, and that hurts my feelings. So actually, I'm the true victim here. But see, we don't fall for that on this channel. So, no. Where's my no bottle? Try again. Doesn't work.
What I'm saying is, this whole experience has made me realize you get a glimpse. You get a tiny, tiny bit of someone's story, and you don't know our full story. And you assume I'm a monster and that he needs to leave me and I'm entitled and I'm awful.
Okay, right, let's be honest.
Isn't that the wild thing though? Is like, she's right and she's wrong at the same time. Because yeah, I think that I've said plenty of times how we so often see these 1 to 2 minute clips and we make these broad jumps, leaps, assumptions. And really, there have been so many situations where if we had that 1 extra minute of context that got clipped out, we would have a completely different perception of how the entire thing went. There are a lot of times where context is completely clipped out, where it completely changes our perception of the situation. Sometimes, though, even though we're only given snippets, we are able to draw a lot of information and conclusions from those small snippets. For example, you know, she's the one that gave us the context that this has been going on for a month. So even though it only takes 5 seconds to say this has been going on for a month, not even 1 second to say all that, we can reasonably draw a month's worth of turmoil from that. We can logically conclude that those 30 days must have been very unpleasant and probably catapulted and snowballed into much worse issues as a result of the longevity of this fight. We can reasonably draw that conclusion, no? Catching Dadvocate live, unheard of. Should I make a schedule, you guys? Should I just have a streaming schedule? I'm very bad at scheduling things and being on a consistent basis, but I do like you guys. We'll do it if I'm pressured enough. We'll give in to peer pressure for my audience.
Answers were just from people being like, I don't get the issue. What is the problem here?
But
I should have a schedule.
also, the saddest part of this whole thing is that honestly, I did not know I had a big forehead. Like, the comments.
What? Oh my
Oh,
god.
okay,
Wow, okay, yeah, so once again, we're like victim blaming or self-victimization. Of course, we're self-victimizing here once again. Like, yeah, if you post and you go viral, the internet will find every way to make fun of your physical appearance. But like, the fact that that's what you chose to hyper focus on is very annoying, because that whole video really just threw accountability out the window, didn't it? It was kind of just like, okay, maybe I was a little harsh, but like, you guys were harsher. That was pretty much the entire tone of that whole video. No, did anybody else get anything out of that? So that was the follow-up video. That one has too been deleted. Absolute shocker. So when that one didn't go well enough, she made another one. Click on this one. Let me just go ahead and pull this up. So this one is still public. You can still go and see this one. We've got 8,100 hearts on this, 3,400 comments. And we seem to be responding to this comment. Okay, now admit to him on camera that you were wrong about the blue water and you acted spoiled. women are lined up for him. Ooh, so this is a pretty harsh comment, I would say, right? I mean, but at the same time, it's pretty direct and to the point of how a lot of people are feeling. I think that people are kind of trying to really make sure that she understands, like, no, dude, we don't really feel bad for you that you got called a five head and that, people were a little bit mean to you and suggesting that your husband could find a woman who will be grateful for him because, like, it is true. When people say this to men who are not acting right, when people are like, dude, like, she's gonna leave you and find someone better, no one bats an eye. But when people reasonably tell women, if you don't appreciate your man, someone will, suddenly becomes like this horribly crude, like awful thing to say to a woman, as if we can't comprehend the fact that, like, actually men are allowed to have self-worth as well. And if men are being mistreated, they should find someone who treats them well. No? Why is that, like, so mean to suggest that a man should go out and find someone who treats them well? I don't think it's that mean, quite frankly. But she responds to it. Feel free to start making your bets in the chat if this is once again another self-victimizing, accountability dodging reaction where she's just mad that people are mean to her, or do you think that she actually does what these people tell her to? What do you guys think? Place your bets. Place your bets. Same thing. I'm curious. Turn the brightness down. Little bright. All right, let's find out.
I was wrong. I've been humbled. I did apologize to him when he came home yesterday, and he was like, Jen, that was forever ago. Who cares? I was like, no. I was dramatic. I just want to tell you I'm sorry. That was a little too much this time.
Okay.
We're fine. On to the next fight.
Oh, you had me in the first half, but then you lost me there. The, So first of all, we didn't follow this assignment directly, okay? Pixar didn't happen, lady. You're on here saying, oh, he told me it was fine, so it's fine. So now I'm just gonna, like, piss him off again another way. Teehee, like, that was definitely a non-apology. Like, and don't get me wrong, I don't believe in apology videos to be real. Like, I don't. I don't think that they ever do any good. Coming on camera and being like, I'm so sorry for the way that I acted. I can't think of a single situation where it actually made things better. I think that you should be directly apologizing to the person that you hurt. And so I don't fault her for doing an off-camera apology to her husband. And I do believe her rendition of events. I absolutely believe that she attempted to apologize and that he kind of was like, oh no, it's okay, like, don't worry about it, because of the context clues that she's provided in the past. I think that this man was told very early on in his marriage, happy wife, happy life, and has just kind of believed it for 17 straight years. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And so it really doesn't surprise me that he kind of waved it off and that she immediately took this to mean, okay, so yeah, I've been right the whole time and we really are fine, and, like, I don't have to do any further self-improvement or anything like that. Like, we're good. Like, I don't think that a lot of men realize how much soft power they carry by doing stuff like this. And I talk about this a lot, but most people don't enter marriages or relationships with the game plan of manipulating them, taking advantage of them, and kind of, like, sucking them dry. Most people don't. However, a lot of people make it too easy for people who would ordinarily not do this to take advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone regularly starts paying your bills for you to a point that it doesn't even become a conversation, you just know they're going to get paid, you probably, a lot of you won't, you probably will end up falling into a pattern of just not even saying thank you anymore and just coming to expect it and just not even talking about it anymore. If someone starts mowing the lawn for you every week or taking the trash out, if your wife starts always doing the laundry, probably you just stop talking about it and it becomes an unspoken expectation. And this is where marriage becomes work. This is where the work of marriage comes in, because you have to practice the gratitude. You have to go out of your way to actively notice the things that these people are doing that they're not just like telling you about, or go out of your way to like ask them about it, right? This is where the work part comes in, because it can be really easy for you to accidentally teach your partner that every time you concede in a fight, they're right, and that it's gonna be fine. It can be really easy for you to teach your partner that this is a common one, that if you have sex, it means whatever problems that you're having are null and void and resolved. How many of you have gone through that one, where you accidentally taught your partner that as long as you consent to sex, you're not mad about whatever it is you were mad about anymore? I think a lot of people get caught up with that, and I think that this is unfortunately a little bit of what's happened in this marriage, is that he has accidentally taught her that he will always, not only immediately forgive her, but is very likely to concede in whatever the argument is, to a point that like she doesn't actually have anything to worry about. You know, she honestly believes that they're fine. And meanwhile, you know, he knows better than to say, like, actually, it did kind of bother me that you couldn't let it go for 30 days. He knows better, because he's like, I just got out of a month of fighting. I'm not starting another month of that sentencing. Like, I'm not doing that to myself again. I'm just going to concede. Like, I got an apology. I'm not asking for anything more. And it's funny that she is the one that earlier was like, it's the bare minimum. The bare minimum is what these men are expected to be, when she got away with the bare minimum, didn't she? That was it. Saying like, I'm sorry I overreacted is the bare minimum of what she needed to do in that situation. What she really should be doing is being like, in the future, I will do a better job of hearing you out and doing the research if you try to explain to me like a new way of doing things that I'm unfamiliar with. I do think that I was a bit stuck in my ways. Like, an apology is the bare minimum. Changed behavior, though, is the real commitment that you need to put forward when putting your spouse through all of that. Is not only just saying, like, I reacted a little bit, teehee, sorry, like, that's the classic, like, teehee, wasn't that just so silly of me, non-apology that keeps those toxic behaviors persisting in a relationship. Is you need to actually do the work of being like, I commit to taking you more seriously when you try to explain a new concept. I commit to not going to social media with our problems. Like, I commit to these things, and this is the work that I'm going to show you of me actively practicing. But no, this is what we get. Thanks, Jen.
Just kidding. He's the best. Sweet, sweet man. Oh no, he got me. We've been gardening all day together. He really is great. I'm folding the laundry. See, I do things too, you guys.
We've been gardening all day. Where are the pit stains, ma'am? A single bead of sweat? That's barely a tan line. I don't see you doing shit. Okay? Are we gardening all day or are we folding laundry? All right? Both important tasks, but I I'm just, it wouldn't surprise me if later when she's retelling the blue Watergate story at like parties, it's well, like we ended up figuring out how to drain the water and like we got through it together. There's one there's one more update to this. I want to show you some of these comments too. I want to know like what your reactions are to some of these. You don't deserve that man. 11,500 likes. A little too much. Understatement of the year. I feel like Kendrick might do a blue water lazy lady diss track. I love that we were even including Kendrick and Drake into this beef. He's adding to his divorce list. I don't know what that means. What is a divorce list? Like a list of people that you're going to date after the divorce? A list of reasons why you are divorcing? Brie, please share your successful marriage tips with us. The passive aggressive smiley. We have 17 plus years, but always willing to learn from experts. Oh, get him, Jen. Get him. Oh, she really thinks she clapped back with that one, dude. She's like, that's so funny too, because ordinarily 17 years is veteran experience that you should be able to use as a point of expertise. Typically, like the average marriage is only 7 years. We're going on about 10 years together, and I would consider that like pretty good. But it's funny how your entire 17 years can also become completely invalidated. Oh, thank you. Completely off topic, but I'm 28 and I've never been to a rave or a club. I really don't begin to enjoy. Shit, that went by so fast. And it doesn't show up in my restream chat. So I gotta find it. Does anyone remember the last part of that question? I'm sorry, I'm the worst. I'm gonna try to answer that Dono Girthy with as much as I was able to read before it went away. And I'm gonna make a note to myself here. Add time to Twitch bit reads. Yeah, you're not missing out on anything though. I will gladly say that. Raves and clubs. I don't know though. I can't say that. There's a lot of people who just like love dancing and it truly just makes them feel like they're out of this world and they love to take drugs and it's a great workout. If you love dancing, if you feel like there's that like beast in you that you got to get out, I say do it. People enjoy doing that like late into their lives. There's even like late 40s people at these raves and clubs going fucking ham. But if you've literally never been interested, you're not missing out. You don't need to do it. You have to be a specific kind of person. All right. There it is. At what age is it too old to go out clubbing or raving? Okay, so I did successfully answer the question, even without reading it. Yeah, there's tons of people. Oh, sweet. Welcome. Welcome back, Rain. I remember you before. I don't know if this is your first time joining, but yeah, you don't have to... Any age, dude. Go have a blast. And honestly, people in those scenes are actually really welcoming. I think you'd have a great time. Oh man, I'm curious to see this super chat from John Thomas before we get into the husband's reply. That's right. The husband made a reply video after all this. Very, very few times in all of partner shaming history do we ever end up actually hearing from the husband. I can count on one hand, and even then only like half the hand, the amount of times we've gotten to hear from the husband. The last time that I can think of as in partner shaming history was actually when she was on like a Love Island star or something. Her name was like Francois Dreschler or something like that. A very Love Island name. Made a series making fun of her ADHD boyfriend called Lazy Shit My Boyfriend Does. And like any of you with even like a pinch of neurodiversity, I'm sure, knows what some of these things would be. Those people with ADHD, they have item blindness. They just forget about tasks. So it would be like little things like he left a half-eaten pita bread on like a shelf of the fridge or something. Very harmless stuff, but would go around the house filming it. And the boyfriend did end up making a response video, and he was basically like, you know, sorry, I'm wondering. There it is. There it is. Sorry, there's still a bunch of stuff coming in. I was like, where is John's super chat? I don't want to miss it. So if it doesn't play soon, I'll read it manually. But he ends up making this response video basically saying that not only had the videos caused some emotional damage and caused him to feel bad about himself, but he also wrote an entire song about his struggles called Cry, Cry, Cry. John says, this isn't that complicated. She's hooking up on the road. She's sabotaging either out of guilt or deliberately. It was never about the toilet. Ooh, what do you guys think about that theory? I do agree that a lot of cheaters project and sabotage as a way of kind of redirecting internalized guilt that they feel about the situation. So a lot of people, they'll pick up a side piece even though their partner is being a perfectly fine partner, and then they just start attacking with random criticisms to kind of deflect blame a bit. In this case, I don't think it's that. I really do think that it's as simple as the fact that she didn't know that this was a common thing. She felt guilty of investing too much of her ego into the decision, too much of her need to be approved of by others. And I think that the gist of it was a pride issue. I think that for her, it became tied to her identity. I cannot have the blue toilet water. The blue toilet water is a negative piece of my identity. I am choosing to let this affect my self-esteem and self-worth, how I am seen by others, and how dare you do this to me, and how dare you not concede to my point of view. And it became a pride thing more than anything else. That's why she could not allow herself to do the Google search of, is it true that this stuff is good at cleaning toilets? Literally would have taken her stress away. Like, I'm not so above doing that anymore. There was a point in my marriage where I was, but like now it resolves so many issues. Like there was one time my husband and I got into a fight over the dishwasher because we were arguing over which way the water shot up. Was it up or down? Was it angular? Like we were arguing about it. And so instead of letting the argument continue, I looked up the dryer mechanics and going into it with the idea of like, maybe I'm wrong. That's like step number one, is you say to yourself, maybe I'm not right. Let's do a scientific method to determine what the truth is so that I'm not investing my ego into an opinion. We can just find out a non-biased fact. And sure as shit, he was right about the dishwasher. And my ego didn't have to be damaged. I did not have to experience a personal insult to that because I'd already gone into it thinking like, wait, maybe it doesn't go up and down. Maybe it is diagonal. Now I load the dishwasher differently, and now everyone is safe and free. You know, it's just crazy. Dylan says, appreciate your SOS chat, or appreciate your significant other's chat, or I'll turn your water blue. Wait, what is that? Do you mean like TJ's chat or just in general? I'm sorry, I got confused with that one. Okay, I think I missed one more. No, we're all caught up with super chats, so we can get into it. Yeah. Okay. How you load the dishwasher is serious business. Yeah, you got to agree on it. You got to agree a little bit. Come up with a plan of Tetris attack. All right, let's watch this husband's video. It was posted to her account, by the way. So do with that what you will. Caption, apparently a few people like blue toilet water. Haha, very funny.
Here, I am Blue Toilet Water Girl's husband. Millions of you responded in my favor, and I cannot thank you enough for that. I would love to see you in solidarity of Blue Toilet Water, because I still love it regardless. I want you to buy this, drop it in your toilet, and send some pics of that so we as toilet water people can unite and stay strong. So you drop these in the tank and then it actually cleans your toilet.
How are you not getting sponsored for this, man? The long con was real.
And so it kind of helps reduce some of the housework that you have to do. I am truly just like in awe of how many of you showed support for me. We had no idea this would be the response.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like drop it in.
Oh, I know. I'm going to make sure you go.
What a weird way for that video to end. It's like for the first time in partner shaming history, we actually do get like a glimpse of justice. Like finally, like I've got to imagine in the past, probably a few of the partner shamers' husbands that I've covered have seen it, and probably at least some of them have felt a sense of justice, even if they didn't say anything. They're probably like, damn, it actually feels really good that you posted this to the internet thinking that this was going to be like an epic FU gotcha to me, and it wasn't. And it wasn't. Like, that's got to feel so good. But then, like, the way this video ends is so strange because it goes like this, and then it just abruptly...
I knew this would be the response.
Yeah.
It just like abruptly cuts to this. I don't know what she set up here.
But I'm not going to like drop it in.
Oh, I know. I'm going to make sure you go.
So what was this? Because I want to hear your theories. Maybe she just like set her phone down and didn't realize she accidentally left this clip in here. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe she wanted to show that she's like involved in the making of this so that people know, like, see, I'm part of the joke. He would never make fun of me without me. Like, we are the perfect 17-year dream couple. I think that she included this because she can't, like, she had to show that she still has power.
I'm not going to like drop it in.
Oh, I know. I'm going to make sure you go.
Why did that part have to be included though? Right? Like it's almost like she wants to trick him into thinking that he has some power still in the marriage by letting him make this video, this silly video where he's like, thank y'all for the support. But then she had to remind everybody in the end, like, I have the final say though. Oh, I'm going to make sure you don't drop it all the way in. I'm gonna make sure of that. What does that even mean? And then is she still talking about the blue thing? Because you notice, even though she lets him make this whole video, lets him post it to her account, notice that once we get to the point that he might actually like put it in, that's when it abruptly cuts off. So she's still not letting him do it. Am I misunderstanding this? Or is she still like, oh, you're still not using it though? Like, no, I'm still right. Because if we went through all of this, I'm gonna come on the internet dead ass livid about this toilet water, like unironically pissed, pressed, having the worst beef of my life with the man that I married. Like, even God is disappointed in us type fight. Deleting that, scrubbing it off the internet, to wow, how dare you guys, you've taken this too far, deleting and scrubbing that from the internet, to, okay, actually, you're right, I'm wrong, that was a gross exaggeration, I behaved out of hyperbole, I took it too far, please forgive me, to this video And it still ends with her still disagreeing with the entire concept of the blue toilet water. She still will not allow it. She still, after all of this, thinks that the blue toilet water is gross, but with no scientific backing other than just no. Like, she's willing to, I think that she's willing to concede her faults. Thank you, Evie Adam. I think she's willing to concede that maybe she was a bit dramatic about it and that some people might like it, but that's the only place she's drawing the line. She's still not welcoming it into her home. She's just allowing him to be like, you can let other people do it, but it's still not happening here. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that I'm actually unreasonably mad about the fact that she still won't allow it, though. And I could be wrong, but do you think that that bathroom was the master bathroom? And do you think that she made him drain it? Because I do. And
Here, I am blue
let me
toilet.
pause this. And the reason that I say all this is because, hold on.
Here, I am blue toilet.
The reason that I say all that is because we can kind of see into the back of it. I don't know how high the water is up on that, if it's stained, but it doesn't look like it's blue. Does the pod that you put in the back, does it also make the back of the water blue? I would assume it does. It looks like it's drained. Now, the reason that I believe that this is the master bathroom is because of the architecture on the window. Typically, what is that kind of a window called? Like an arch window? But typically, those windows are not found on a lower level bathroom, one that would be accommodating for the rest of the family. Typically, those are on the second floor. No? Feel free to agree with me or disagree if you have, this is gonna kill me. My Sims knowledge really should be coming into play here. Angular window? What's it called? What are different kinds of windows called? Someone help me out. Someone tell me what kind of a window that is. It's like, it's not an arbor window, right? Man, women really can't let anything go, can they? Round top window? Is that really all it's called? I guess there are some round top windows on the first floor. You know, it could be. But based on that bay window, that could be a half circle window. And because it looks like it could be a, I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think she made him drain both bathrooms and is no longer allowing these in the house and is still just standing 10 toes down on, okay, so literally millions of people may have taken your side and reminded me that I'm being extremely ungrateful, and I may admit that I did take things too far and be a little bit dramatic. However, I still stand on the fact that blue toilet water is icky, and I will not be allowing it. If that's truly how this story ends, the marriage will never change. This man will be experiencing different variations, iterations, story arcs, and fan fictions of Blue Watergate for the rest of his life. Like, it reminds me of the couple where the couch was placed in a way that it was like sideways to the TV. Like the only way to sit in the couch was to do this to watch the TV, but the wife refused to change it because it looked better that way. So the husband just lived watching TV like this because that's what she wanted. And I just think that that happens sometimes. And I think that we can all use this story as a precautionary tale that look, the guy had a big win when he finally decided to fucking stand up for himself. Didn't he? Didn't he? For once, we saw a man stand behind his beliefs and convictions for at least a 1 month period. And if he would have just stuck it out, yeah, things would have gotten worse before they got better, but things would have gotten better. Now, because he's just given up on the blue toilet water, he will forever be facing shit like this with the expectation that he just bend over and take it. Okay? This is not the first nor the last of the blue toilet water gate. He's gonna enjoy this video, that brief relic in time where he once had a win, but then it's gonna be completely changing around and doing mundane, stupid, superficial tasks for the rest of his life to appease the weird monkey brain that his wife has that goes scratch, scratch, I don't like this, or scratch, scratch, I like that, for no scientific purpose whatsoever until the end of time. Where's the compromise? He doesn't lose the compromise is that he doesn't lose half his shit in a divorce. That's the compromise. He gets to spend another 17 years dancing like a monkey and doing random performances of labor for no semblance of a reason, just because I said so. And the compromise is that, I don't know, maybe she shames him twice a year instead of 4 times a year. I don't know. And it doesn't seem like there's much to gain, though, gotta say. RIP to the blue toilet water in this man's house, and RIP to any unique ideas that he might have that Jen Lyles does not 100% approve of. Okay. I've been drinking a lot of water and a lot of coffee, so I'm gonna throw on the BRB screen for like a quick 5 minutes while I run and pee and wash my hands really, really fast. When I come back, we are going to talk about another very popular story going around on TikTok, on the news, and on the internet. And you may have heard of it. We are going to be talking about the teacher who was recently fired for allowing his students to do his hair. More on that in a minute. I'm going to pee and come right back. All right, I'm back. What did I miss? Were y'all behaving in the chat? Everyone's like, no, we never do. What are you talking about? All right, for our next story, this involves a teacher out of, oh gosh, where were we? Maryland. A Maryland teacher whose name is, now I don't know if this is pronounced Marquis White or Marcus White. But the name that they go by on TikTok is either Jack Hugh Lee or Jack Lee. And this particular teacher ended up going viral, say maybe like a week or two ago now. This teacher ended up going viral after pictures started circulating online when he went live on TikTok while allowing his students, all of them being female students in middle school, to start taking out his hair. So, for some context, this is an African American male. All of the students are also of African American culture. So, obviously, there's going to be a bit of that culture that I can't fully speak to. I did grow up in Detroit, so surrounded by a large African American community, so I can definitely attest to some parts of growing up with it in that everyone was always doing each other's hair. It is a big part of the African American culture and community. I mean, the hair's got to get done. It takes a long time to do it. The more hands that can be in there, the faster it'll get done. Oftentimes, people of the community would do it for each other so that you don't have to be spending all this money. It's kind of more of just like a communal trade in a way. And it was also not really seen as like a hyper intimate thing. It was kind of like everybody was just doing each other's hair. However, that was in my neighborhood, right? And even though I went to a very, very diverse school, we didn't see anybody doing that at school. I didn't even see anybody doing each other's hair at school. I can't imagine even having enough time for that. So I'm not sure if any of you saw the viral pictures of it or the discourse. Excuse me one sec. Had to cough, but I hate coughing on microphone. But there were a lot of mixed reactions as soon as people started seeing this image of a teacher having his hair being touched on by multiple younger girls. Is plenty of people were like, why is the teacher not teaching? What is this? This is inappropriate. All the way to people saying, you know, this is him bonding with his community. I'm so sorry for you that you don't understand what it's like to have that bond. So, look, I'm not going to leave you guys in the dark about the situation for much longer. Let's go ahead and I'll give you some more context by showing you his reaction to some of the reactions on TikTok.
Let's go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage. I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school.
I also need to let y'all know that while we know now that he has since been let go from this position, this TikTok was posted while he was still employed. Now, I'll start by saying what we see here doesn't like reek of grooming or anything sexual or lewd or illicit, in my opinion. This is a very like familiar scene to me of like what I grew up with. You would just catch this walking around pretty much anywhere you went. Seems like it could be a pretty normal situation if maybe they weren't wearing the school's insignia, if the classroom was not visible in the background, if this was truly like an after school care situation, maybe. Let's say this was like a latchkey program, right? Like kids are waiting for their parents to pick them up. Might feel a sort of different way about it. It is during school hours, though. Okay. So we're about to get his excuse or reason for why he allowed this. One, why he chose to film it live on TikTok. Two, and three, why he doesn't find it inappropriate at all. But like, to me, even though I don't hate him just yet or anything, it is kind of a potent mark of immaturity to say, I would like to defend myself in this case, Your Honor, in kind of a joking way in a TikTok, when what you should be doing is freaking the fuck out over your career, in my opinion, because by the time he was responding to this, it had gone so viral, and there is no way that the school had not been contacted about this. All right. We're not even getting into the fact that it was live streamed on TikTok. Gonna need more info there, because surely you would need some kind of media release for every single one of those students involved, some kind of agreement with the school in order to do that. In which case, I can't even imagine a situation where it would be appropriate to do a TikTok live during school hours. I just can't. And then there's such a conflict of interest there with the fact that his account is absolutely monetized. So these lives are monetized, which goes into the whole argument of, are you utilizing these students for profit? Some could see it that way. Are you now unfairly failing to compensate them for their labor? So many other things to dissect here. Uh, Even though I don't hate that they chose to engage in this activity, if it truly was during a free period, the putting it all on TikTok live and then kind of goading the audience with almost like antagonistic, you know, oh, I guess I have to defend myself now, haha, like making a joke about it. It's giving immature. It is.
And I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So I had to look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out, and they
Okay. That's gonna be strike number 2 from me, buckaroo. So his excuse for what even led to this is that he did have a hair appointment. Don't worry, it's not that he can't afford it. He's not a brokey, y'all. He could afford a hair appointment. It's just that he had a whole camera crew over his place for social media purposes, and he had to look presentable as he was being interviewed for social media. He's a very cool teacher. But now, because you can't go to your appointment, you had to do this whole cool social media thing, you had to ask the students, okay? But you're referring to them as your besties? Oh, okay, that's going to be another little point of contention for us here, because first of all, it's weird that he says I had to ask one of my over 100 best friends. First of all, you do not have 100 kids in your classroom, do you? That's horrifying. How do you just like and if they're not in your classroom, how do you just like readily have access to like 100 of them? You're going outside of the classroom to recruit people. So like if you couldn't get enough of your best friends in this classroom, you would then leave the classroom to then go ask for further help, to go solicit labor from other classrooms. Do they all have free periods, or are you interrupting other classes for this? Also, is it appropriate to call a student a best friend? Even one of the students, but all of them are your best friend? All of them. I would watch it. I would watch it. The video's quiet. Let me. Yeah, I think it's just him. He's a quiet guy, because the last ones weren't bad.
They all agreed. Number 2, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out.
Okay, so the reason that they were in a free period was because he told them that since they did so well in class earlier, they get to have a free period. So he's positioning it this as like he originally did it for them, but oh, conveniently, while we have the time, and since I coincidentally missed my appointment yesterday, look at all this time that freed up for you to do my hair. Oh my gosh. What a coincidence. Like, I think he'd been planning since he had his morning coffee to wrap up class a little bit earlier and ask his besties to do his hair. No? No, I think that that was the plan from the jump. I think from the minute that the social media crew was like, hey, can we come over and film? Which, like, what is this crew? Like, 2 of his best friends? Come on, with a couple iPhones? What's going on here? But he's like, I think that he knew then, oh, it's fine, I can bail on my hair appointment. I'll just have the students do it. Like, this is a dude who has clearly gotten a little too comfortable in a little too many ways, okay? You want to be comfortable, but work, your job, is not the place to be comfortable. Is that fair? Like, this is not me trying to be unsympathetic to teachers either, because I absolutely understand that teachers are so under-supported. I'm regularly telling everybody, like, make a backup zombie survival plan now for when all the teachers quit and we have to homeschool our own kids, because it's going to happen. Like, I have a lot of sympathy for teachers, but just in general, if you are being employed by someone is paying you, providing benefits for you to do a job, ideally it's something that you enjoy doing, something that brings you fulfillment. However, that's not the place to get comfortable. Is that fair to say? Is that too boomery of me, or is that fair?
A couple of these were students from my class, but others were students from other classes. I would offer them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior.
Wow, imagine. I'm sure it's not just us on the internet judging this guy. There's got to be the teachers at school. Could you imagine having your class interrupted with a message requesting one of your students to leave early to do their male teacher's hair? Even if he was a woman, okay, to do a teacher's hair? You want me to let my student leave early to do a job for you that you had previously scheduled to pay someone for, but because you failed to make that appointment, you want me to release my student early to you? Like, come on now. Like, it's one thing if the students are already there in your class, if you had already decided at the start of the week, before you even knew that you were going to be missing this appointment, that this was going to be a free period of half an hour or so. He's saying this only takes 10 minutes. I would love to do the math on this time lapse to see how true that is, okay? Because I know some of this hair takes a long ass time, but the fact that you're going out of your way to request certain students, because that's the thing too, is you have to have been requesting certain students, because you can't just send a carrier pigeon out to every other class and be like, hey, is it okay if any of your students who get done with their work early want to come do my hair, right? Like, how did we even get to this situation? This is wild.
They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal, they showed up for their job.
But the teachers are clearly cool with it, so maybe no one's judging it. Maybe they're like, yeah, that's totally fine, actually. Like, maybe it's teachers just send their kids back and forth for random stuff all the time. Like, help me clean this, help me organize that. Could be.
My next point I'd like to make is, if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh, this is weird, this is inappropriate. Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, oh, that's too intimate. To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird. Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher.
I gotta say, his, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue, but his rhetoric, that's the word. His rhetoric is on point. I love the way that he is framing having his students do his hair for him as it is paramount to being a valid and respectable educator in this society to build these kinds of bonds with your students. Like, dude needs to quit teaching and become a lawyer. Well, I guess this is his golden opportunity, considering the way this played out.
I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do. I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics, because caring for the whole child is what's important.
I agree.
Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say. And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children. And in case you're wondering about their parents, most of them follow me on social media and always talk about my videos with their kids. They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life.
This is rubbing me the wrong way. You guys know me. I'm the Dadvocate. I really try to see issues where men, especially like underdog men, are getting dragged unfairly. And so going into this situation, that's really what I wanted to do, was stick up for this guy. You know, he seems like an underdog in the situation. He is a black male teacher, something that our kids definitely need more of, you know, in a field that is predominantly led by women, and not many women of color either. This is a rare voice that we really should be respecting, okay? But there's something that's really rubbing me the wrong way about the need to be on the social media, and now their parents follow me, their parents love me, and they always talk about what a great teacher I am, and they always are saying how awesome I am. Like, that is the kind of language of almost like a self-obsessed person. Let's take the gender out of it. This is the kind of way that a self-obsessed person is speaking, you know, and it could be true that he's really close with these kids and has truly like benefit their lives in a lot of ways, but like, bro, you need to chill on this. Like, everybody always talks about what an awesome teacher, and then the whole train clapped, like, and then everybody clapped for me. Like, okay, buddy, reel it back.
In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos.
They
For me,
all
this
love
is
it.
just another
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves what I'm doing.
wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film. Since I'm a science teacher, one thing that I teach my students
What is the oh god, or just earlier in this live we were talking about the clever way that people like paraphrase things to make it sound like it's different than it is. Listen to him. This is a hilarious still that I caught, by the way. But listen to him going, oh, I can't believe I was fortunate enough to capture this on film. Like, I just caught it. Like, sir, you started alive. You started alive with the intention of capturing it all. And so from the very jump, it became a performative video. What do you mean you like happened to capture it?
about is symbiosis. Symbiosis deals with the relationships between organisms. The type of relationship that I like to foster in my class is mutualism, or mutualistic relationship, which means both organisms benefit from the exchange. So when my students have good behavior, complete all their assignments, and do everything that a scholar is supposed to do, I reward them with downtime and just time to just be a kid, be on their phones, play games, gossip, so on and so forth.
That rhetoric is
My
so
students and I
good.
work hard and we play harder. I'm fortunate enough to have students that feel safe and comfortable around me, safe to come to me with their problems, their frustrations. They come to me seeking guidance and wisdom, or come to me simply to chill and hang out because they know that they have a safe space to be themselves around me. What I strive to do as an educator is be the teacher I wish I had grown up.
I think it's one thing to be proud of the work that you do, and I think that it's amazing to have that, and because that means that you have a job that you in some way love, and I think that's really special. But I think it's also a different thing to kind of have a hero complex, and that's kind of more of what I'm feeling, because it would be one thing for him to come on here and be like, I hear the criticisms, I do understand where they're coming from. This is the reason that I felt that it was okay. And I do feel like I'm doing great work. These are the ways that I will continue to do that great work while being respective to the clear large amount of people who did experience some confusion or upset having seen this. And here are the ways that I'm going to try to be more clear or explain this a little bit better. Something, but it sounds to me like he's just kind of going on and on about how he's like the best thing since fucking sliced bread, and so that's why we all need to get over it. Like, yeah, no, it's normal and y'all are wild, and it seems to be like his entire take. Dadvocate, would you say the same thing if it was a female teacher saying it? Yeah, I did say that earlier in the stream. I was like, let's take gender out of it. If it was even a woman requesting a hall pass for a student to come do her hair, I would be like, and to be honest, if I was a teacher, I would probably release the student. I probably would. I wouldn't make a big deal about it. I would not complain to the administration, but there would be a bit of a bombastic side-eye moment where I would lose respect for that teacher and I would take her a lot less seriously. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, unless she was doing like otherwise tremendous, incredible, amazing work, like getting these kids grades up, like, and it was just a once in a while thing. But now if you add into the mix, I find out that she's having the students do her hair while putting it on TikTok live. I'm sorry, but like, yes, I would lose respect for that teacher. I would. I don't know, guys. Let's take another poll. Like, how many of you guys are on his side at this point? Say I'm on his side. Say me. Or just say no if you're not. Like, oh god, did someone let a foot fetishist into my chat? Chill. Stop. None of that here. Yeah, a lot of people are saying I have no issue with this. And for me, I think it's the social media that tips it over the edge for me. Is if it was just hair, I wouldn't be talking about this at all. I would never have even brought it up. It's the fact that it went to TikTok Live. No one's on his side in my chat. Okay. Let's let him keep going, though.
I strive to be the teacher that makes my inner child happy, someone that my inner child would be proud of. I want to be the teacher that my students reflect back on.
I mean, you're doing it because every little kid wants to like have somebody play with their hair. Probably most adults do too, but I mean, there you go. You're reaching your inner child's dreams. You're getting a bunch of people to play with your hair and getting paid for it. Dope.
20, 30 years down the line and think like, dang, that teacher I had in middle school, he was the shit. No further questions, Your Honor. So let me know your...
Let me know your thought. Okay, we don't need to finish the video then, because that's his whole spiel is, I didn't do nothing wrong, you guys are over exaggerating, and I just want to have this legacy of my kids thinking that I'm the coolest thing ever. That kind of tells me all I need to know about like what's really going on here, is the fact that like, feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Tell me if you think that what he said is just like a perfectly normal way of expressing himself, but to me, all I heard was, it's important to me that my students think I'm cool. Not, it's important to me that my children leave my classroom with a stronger fostered sense of confidence and independence. Or, it's important to me that my children get the absolute most out of their time here and I'm able to fulfill them with like lessons that make them feel more empowered. But it's all about he just wants them to remember him as being like this badass, like having a fun time. And it's giving very like, my kid's my best friend, not my son. Like, your kid's 7. They're supposed to be your son before they're your best friend. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be your students, not your best friends. Right? And I think it's really like, look, I'll hold my thought. The Reaver of Darkness, thank you. Thank you for that. At first I was worried you were just a Meninist, but you have shown me several times that you keep it unbiased. I have needed your channel for so long. Is a Meninist like I've got to imagine, I don't hear that word very often, but I've got to imagine that's like the more radical version of like a feminist, of people who are like fighting for more men's issues than women's issues. And I'm glad that you recognize that that's not like what my channel is, even though I'm the Dadvocate. Like, it's funny, I was just saying to my husband how like before I became the Dadvocate, I was definitely like the momvocate. Oh god, that keeps scaring me. Thank you, Samantha. Husband said he's giving Michael Jackson vibes. Damn, talk about another controversial figure who was also both beloved and hated, and who's probably had just as much access to people's kids as whose parents would hide their children in a heartbeat. What an apt comparison, actually. But yeah, it's funny, I was just telling my husband that I actually used to be more of like the momvocate. When I first met him, I was actually like always taking his son's mom's side and trying to be like fighting for her, trying to make sure she felt like the most comfortable. Like I was like, I want to make sure that like your ex always feels comfortable and is always happy. Like I really want to take care of her. And I would like often take her side in arguments, and I would always be like, you made sure the child support is paid, right? Like I want to make sure that she's always taken care of. Like I actually used to be the momvocate, and then like I got to admit, it was the turning point for me when I really started to realize that like women truly can be just as bad as men, and like the issues men face truly can be just as bad as the issues we face, was when I had like hid myself for months and months and months and months, because she was like, you can't be around my son until I meet you, and I don't want to meet you. And I was like always trying to like make her feel comfortable, do all this stuff, like write her letters. And then my husband messages me and he goes, I just went over to walk my son to school and her new boyfriend's car is parked there. And apparently, according to my kid, he's just been spending the night, and she like just started dating this guy a month ago. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And that was like when I think that was the moment I became the Dadvocate, honestly. It's like, I still care about moms, of course. Of course I do, and I care about women's issues, but like that was the minute for me that I was like, wow, y'all are truly getting equally fucked out here. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but yes, I'm not a Meninist. Okay, so this guy makes that video. And and some things progress from there, okay?
Let's go ahead and stir the pot a
Oh
little,
wait,
shall we? Last
sorry.
Friday, 10 minutes before this.
Pause it. Sorry, that's not the update that I wanted. This is the one that I wanted.
Amidst all the controversy that has come from this video that I posted, I wanted to come on here and read some of the messages that my students are sending me during. Some of the messages that they've been sending me.
Alright, so now we enter a different layer. This is a video made post getting fired, and he's receiving text messages from his students. Some of you may argue, oh, well, he doesn't work there anymore, so it's normal for him to be receiving text messages from minors. Okay, some of you might say that. He does make it clear, though, throughout these videos that he has had these phone numbers prior to being fired. In fact, there are multiple... Oh, sorry. Wait, where did the alerts go on here? I gotta throw that. Throw it up. I once had a student try to give me a shoulder massage during class. I stopped her and I just said, let's all have a seat to de-escalate. Holy shit, Neomass. That had to have been terrifying, dude. Just like hoping and praying that every camera is getting like every second of that and getting your rejection because, wow, no, nope, shut that down. But yeah, he does make very clear that he's already had their phone numbers, he's already been engaging in group texts, and that's inappropriate to me. I don't know. Feel free to argue. And one thing that I want to make clear too is I did have close relationships with my teachers. Like I did have close relationships with my teachers growing up, especially in high school when I had become a little bit more mature and was able to have better, more close-knit relationships with my teachers. And a couple of them I actually do still keep in contact with and have added on social media, which occurred after I graduated. When I was over the age of 18, I still don't have any of their phone numbers. But as a minor child, as a father, my spidey senses are tingling. That man should not be anywhere near kids. Thank you, Archangel Michael George Akbar. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think that he's a danger. But I do think that he may have some narcissistic tendencies. I would not go so far as to say, oh, he's a full-blown narcissist, but I would say that he does have some very self-obsessed narcissistic tendencies that might be worth taking some time to work through, acknowledge, just take a peek at for some time. And I think that he needs to learn how to set boundaries, how to set some very firm boundaries. I don't know if like he just grew up a very uncool kid, grew up craving attention and wanting to be like the popular kid at a young age or something, but I don't think it's appropriate to be texting with your students. I think that that's the line for me. I'm going to draw that very hard line. No, we're not text messaging. At best, maybe like Kids Messenger, where the parent or chaperone of the account has access to all messages and nothing can be deleted. Maybe. Like, from what I've learned about that messaging system, it seems to be a lot more monitored, but I would be pissed if my kids were texting with the teacher pissed. Me too. Me too. And I don't usually freak out about that kind of thing. Like I said, if I show up and drop my kid off and my teacher is not wearing a bra at all, and a second set of eyes is just staring up at me, I'm not going to report her. I'm not going to say shit. I'm going to tell my kid, you just focus on your studies, whatever. If I show up, my substitute teacher has a satanic throat tattoo, I'm not going to say shit. I'm going to tell my kid, you just focus on your studies, get after it. Like, it's going to take a lot for you to do something that's going to make me actually complain about you. You know, I've had some issues at school where, like, I have to ask for understanding, right? Like, there was a couple times my kid came home and she was like, I had to sit in a different area than the kids with school lunch because I have a home lunch. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you're not allowed to sit with kids who get school lunch? That makes no sense. Ask for clarification. She just has to sit in a different area while she waits for kids who are getting school lunch to come back. I thought she was, like, being isolated. Like, different little things that, like, you might freak out about. You can usually ask for clarification. Everything's good. If you are my student's teacher and she is not over the age of 18, she or he, there's really not a conversation to be had. There's not an excuse that I care to hear. You have crossed a line. That is not appropriate. I am reporting your ass to administration. And I don't want to hear excuses or bullshit from them either. I'm not impressed. I think that you need to start setting hard boundaries. Teachers are not to be giving out their phone number to students. Students are not to be giving out their phone number to teachers. Like, period. What do you mean? What excuse could you possibly have for not using email? I'm sorry, what excuse could you possibly have for a teacher and a student exchanging phone numbers? You already lost me at the TikTok live stuff. If I found out that a teacher was doing a TikTok live without my express written consent and agreement, we're already having problems, but now you're exchanging phone numbers with the students? It's not even the hair at this point. The hair simply exposed so many other things that you failed to do as a responsible caretaker to these children. You want to talk about how you're like a father, like an older brother to these children, but what father would let their child be engaging in text conversations with their teachers like this? I'm sorry, like, there may be different cultures. There may be, oh, these kids have more needs, you know, they need these connections more. They need to be on his TikTok live earning him dollars. Do they?
During this time, hey bestie, I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay. Our class misses you so much, and we really want you to know that we love you and we miss you so much and can't wait for you to come back. Make little things big things. I want you to know that the class and others got your back.
Because he just goes on crying about this. This isn't me trying to make fun of dudes crying or anything either. Like, if it was a female teacher, which I have covered before, so don't nobody come for me. I come for these female teachers having inappropriate relationships with their students too. Okay? If we had a female teacher who was texting her students, wanting to come up on TikTok, make a 6-minute long video, crying, reading about how loved she is, I would be making fun of her the same way. Okay? You guys get the picture. Hey, bestie. All right, let's do a quick check-in before we get to some of the dirt. The further dirt people have dug up on this man. Quick pulse check. Who's on this guy's side? Say me if you're on his side. Say no if you are not on his side. How are we feeling, chat? Anybody still standing for JQ Lee or... was it Marky White or Marcus White? What we got against feet? Nothing, just not the time and place, y'all. If if y'all want to start like a little foot thing in my Discord or something, y'all go off, but Absolutely not. Oh, well, no. Trust me, guys, I wanted so badly to be on his side. And when this first started coming out, when I first started hearing about this, I was like, no, it's like a culture thing. It's like a culture thing. I remember this all the time growing up in Detroit. Like, everybody did this for each other in my neighborhood. But as I just started to like learn more details, like I thought this was just a picture taken out of context. I didn't realize that it was a full-on TikTok live. That got me. Calling the kids his best friends got me. Sending out hall passes to request these kids to do their hair got me. Making sure that he planned for class to end early conveniently to have his hair done got me. And that it just kept going and going. The everybody loves me, everybody loves everything that I'm doing for these kids, I'm doing amazing work, all that stuff gets me. Okay? Now, it got to other people too. It was bothering some other people. And people started realizing, like he says, he's been doing social media for a long time, even before he got into teaching. So people went back and they started finding some things, and he addresses it in this video.
Here's some other things that people try to dig up and use against me, but they don't hold any weight, and I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide. The emo trend or the emo girl, I'll even put the video in here. I'll put the video in here. Here.
Okay, so to give you some context, this is a video that people found that he had made where he stitched this girl. And the text overlay says, I only F with, with emo boys. Now, it's important to note, this is a high school age girl. If you're 16 up, you're allowed to post on TikTok, okay? She is posting this from a high school bathroom, which, to be fair, you may not know that if it is just a trend. The trend at the time was to stitch this and then, pretend to be emo. The joke being, damn, she's so fine that I would become emo to get with her. Which, if you're a high school boy making that joke, responding to a high school girl, whatever. That's very high school of you to do. But then he responds to it. So he stitches it with this. Obviously, showing his body and leaving that up publicly. And while this might be an older video, as he himself has mentioned, his students are following him. The parents of his students are following him. He's also associating the students and where he works with content like this. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of bad, huh, guys?
Video that people dug for was from 3-4 years ago. It was a viral trend that some chick was in the video and you stitch it.
This is another big excuse that people use, is they're always that was from years ago, but that was from years ago. And it's how good of an excuse is that really? What exactly is the statute of limitations on having something like this associated with your current account? The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if it was years ago. If this is now an account that you use to directly associate with your place of employment, it doesn't matter how long ago it was. Okay? If you posted that to an anonymous Twitter that had never, ever, ever been associated with the school, then go off. Then I would say, okay, it's ridiculous that people are bringing this up. This clearly shouldn't even matter anymore. But it's not. I would be willing to afford a lot more benefit of the doubt to okay, you didn't know her age when you stitched it. You were just trying to follow a trend. But it's really bothering me that at no point is this guy taking accountability for anything. Not once has he ever said okay, this might have been a misstep. maybe I was irresponsible here. Not even the slightest amount. He's just like, guys, this was from years ago. You're overreacting. You're overreacting. Could you imagine how exhausting this guy must be to be in a relationship with? Like every single thing you bring up, like, oh, well, you cheated in the past, but that was years ago. Oh, well, you didn't do this thing you said you were going to do 5 times. Oh my God, you're overreacting. This again? Like, I can just see it now. No, it's a good thing this guy doesn't want to have kids, because he would be such an obnoxious person to raise kids with, dude. Just like never taking accountability, always trying to talk his way out of it. Like, and I'm sorry, I don't like to use empiricals. I shouldn't say always and never, so I'm gonna correct myself there. I'm sure sometimes he takes accountability. He just hasn't yet for anything that I've seen at all.
Showing that you're emo. It was over, what, 550,000 followers on TikTok? People like, oh, people commenting, you still didn't delete it. Why didn't you delete it? Bro, do you not know with over 500,000 followers on TikTok, you know how fast them notifications be coming in? I didn't see it. If I'd have saw it in the moment, yeah, I'd have probably taken it down, because if it's a minor, sure, let me take it down. Someone, oh, look at the bathroom. It's clearly a high school. Bro, there have been so many places that I've been in that have had a bathroom that look exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Okay.
People were
fair.
saying in the comments, like, oh, the place I work at, bathroom looks exactly the same. No, I'm not looking at the bathroom. Bro, it was a viral trend. I joined the trend because it was a time I was trying to grow my page even more. Millions of people were doing this, and it was gaining traction, so let me join on the bandwagon. But now that we're saying all this stuff, oh, she was 18, she was 16, she was this, she was that. You know what? I don't care enough to be an investigative journalist for that crap, so I'm just going to take it down.
Just say I was wrong and I'll take it down. You don't have to be like, I actually don't care enough about all this. This is actually like way beneath me, but like, I guess if you guys are gonna make such a big deal out of nothing, I'll do something about it. Like, this guy just seems so childish. I really wanted to have his back, but he just seems incredibly childish. It's killing me, man. It really is. So that's basically where we're at now. You can see some of his other stuff on here. All of his classroom stuff still pinned. He still wants to rake off the profits from that, I suppose. But you can hear him give a lot of other crappy explanations for things. He goes into why he calls his kids bestie, trying to explain how, you have to meet the kids where they're at. You have to use the language that they use, which I guess is why he says bruh in every other word. This is too many TikToks to be filming at school, dude. Ain't no way. Like, I'm just failing to justify this, because we were all pretty collectively turned off by all of the nurses making TikToks, especially during the panini, the pandemic, the panorama, right? Like, we can all collectively agree that none of us were very impressed by all of the nurses doing like collective dance routines while patients were dying next to them. None of us liked that. So when we exist in a country where our education system is so far behind, where our literacy levels are embarrassing, like literally kids cannot read, there is a massive literacy problem. Let me see how many people can't read in the United States. 32 million adults. 1 in 4 children in our country can't read. Of course, no one's going to be happy when this is what our teachers are spending their time doing. I mean, for God's sake, I'll meet you halfway. Of course, I understand that you can't spend an entire school day doing nothing but copying and pasting assignments, doing standardized tests, and staring at a screen. Of course you can't. You have to break up the monotony somehow. Just like, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't just never spend your money on fun stuff. You have to live a little bit in order to have a valuable life. You know, you have to. But taking it to social media is just inappropriate. By all means, have free period where you guys bond and gossip and catch up and kind of break that fourth wall between a teacher and student. You know, give some life advice, talk about home, talk about dating, you know, talk about your favorite TV shows or rap artists, talk about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, for God's sake. Do each other's hair, honestly. But taking it to social media is inappropriate. Taking it to any kind of way that you are text messaging each other is not appropriate. And to be making all of these excuses instead of just saying, yeah, you know what? Maybe teachers shouldn't be posting their students and classrooms on TikTok on a public account. Maybe teachers and students shouldn't be exchanging phone numbers. That's all very simple to say, okay? It's as simple as the question like, what should the age of consent be? If you struggle to answer that question, or you try to find excuses for explaining away your answer, like, you might just have a fucked up take on the situation. If you're a person who honestly thinks it's okay for a teacher to give their phone number to and text a student outside of school hours for any reason, you're going to need to explain yourself in the comments, my guy. I'm sorry. That's going to need a real good explanation. If you think it's okay to be on TikTok Live with middle schoolers, with minors, you're going to need to explain that to me in the chat in the comments below. Like, with a very thorough, probably a thesis length explanation, because I just fail to see any shred. And you guys know me, I will practically do backflips in the mental gymnastics department to in any way spread some devil's avocado on the toast that we're talking about. I cannot muster a single drop of guacamole from the devil's avocado to smear here. I cannot think of why it would ever be okay to be on TikTok as a teacher with your students who are minors. Why it would be okay to exchange text messages with minors. It's not. It's not okay. Honestly, dude deserved to get fired. Probably shouldn't be a teacher. I would be on his side to get rehired and continue that profession if he could just admit those two things. If he could just admit, it was wrong of me to be texting students, I will never do that again in the future until they are over the age of 18. It was wrong of me to be doing TikTok lives with students, I will not do that again in the future until it is off school hours and the students are above the age of 18. Then he would have had my support, but it's too late now, dude. I think it's pretty obvious that the dude needs a lot of working on himself. Dude needs to experience ego death, to be honest. That dude should probably take some mushrooms, go out to the middle of the woods, experience ego death, and come back. Delete all those kids' numbers, block them if they keep trying to message you, delete all the social media shit, understanding that it's okay to do. Like, you will survive if you delete a video, even if that video at some point went viral or is collecting you some kind of bag. Some things are more important than that, okay? I don't know what else to tell you, man. If you think that's okay. I was mostly joking about the taking mushrooms and experiencing ego death thing. That's something that a lot of kind of new age people are talking about, but it's basically the concept of like achieving the state of nirvana or super ego, or destroying your super ego to where you're not like directly tied to the things that you think give you your identity. You don't need to win at things to feel successful. You don't need to be attached two things. This can be dire. Some people, they go out and they take mushrooms, they experience ego death, they come back and they're like, I have no attachments, and they leave their spouse of 20 years. No joke, it gets crazy. So I was kind of joking about that, but also that dude does need to do a bit of deconstructing. I don't think that he's a purely evil person. I don't think that he should never be around children again, that he's a danger, that he needs to be put on a list or anything like that. I don't think that he needs to be canceled, but I think dude needs to come to terms with a lot of shit. Basically have a come to Jesus moment, you know, reconstruct a lot of the ways that you are currently behaving. And I was dead serious about that setting the boundaries thing. Like, you have to be able to set boundaries with people or you will not be a successful man. Just straight up. He needs to reformat. Okay. I got time for a couple more things before we go. I know exactly what we'll cover. Okay. Couple more videos. All right. This next video, someone tagged me in it and they wanted my response, and so I will provide. I will provide. I might have to mute it. Let me turn it down. It reads, don't ever lie to a man and tell them you like jazz, because they will take you to a jazz show. Oh shit. I did not play that very well for you guys. Anyway. You get the idea. There's jazz music. Don't ever lie to a man and tell them you like jazz, because they will take you to a jazz show. Like, no. What? Caption reads, I'm literally getting nauseous over the adagios. New York City dating always goes like this, dude. I would never download Hinge in New York City because this is always the way it goes. Like, no shit, Sherlock. How old are you, Sienna? You've gotta be, like, based on some of your other things, like, don't we all learn at some point in middle school to high school that if you lie about liking something to impress someone, there's eventually going to come a time where they ask you further things about your alleged interest, and you have to either become very good at lying or abandoning the conversation very suddenly, or maybe just admit that lying about having a certain interest that you don't actually know anything about is a bad idea. Like, haven't we all had that moment where we're like trying to impress someone and they're like, oh yeah, I really like this band, and you're like, oh yeah, me too, and they're like, oh, what's your favorite song, and you're just like, I regret this decision. I do not know a single song by this person. And now you're stuck in a super awkward Michael Scott situation where you have to either like pretend that you've suddenly forgotten every song this band has ever written, even though you just claimed you love them, or admit that you just lied about liking this band for pretty much no reason. If that person had even the slightest interest in you, they would have that interest in you whether or not you liked that band. It usually takes us a little bit to learn it, but not this late in the game, right? And the fact that like the whole reaction to it is like shocked Pikachu face. What a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, yeah, if you tell a man you like something, odds are if he's a good guy and you pick well, he's gonna follow through and assuming that you meant it when you said you liked it. Why did you tell him you liked jazz? What was the point of that? We're just going around lying about liking stuff? What did you think was gonna happen when you did that? What possible other alternate universe outcome could have happened from you telling a man that you like jazz? Is it typical that the guys that you date, you're able to just give them random details about things that you like and they just have never done anything with it? And so this is like a shock to you. You're like, oh shit. Like, usually the stuff I say to men just goes in one ear, out the other, doesn't even process, doesn't even register. They just continue to talk about themselves only, and I just deal. Like, depressing if true, but unlikely to be the case. Now, a lot of times when I see content like this that is like unbelievably dumb, I get like addicted to it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I get the itch and I want more. The curiosity takes over, and it's like, I know this isn't the only train wreck in the archive of train wrecks, and god damn it, wouldn't you know it,
Okay, I am the problem.
she's the same woman who made this video. And if you haven't seen this video yet, come with me on this ride. You thought the jazz video was bad?
Okay, I am the problem. I went on a date with this guy and he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over. And I was like, cool. So I go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night. And I'm like, are you gay? Like, what? And like, I just wanted him to like try, and then for me to be like, no, you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna sleep with him. I just now I feel ugly. This is what. Oh my god. Okay, I am.
And this is why men just aren't even approaching women anymore, quite frankly. There could not be a more defined damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because she made so explicitly clear that sex was not at all on the table, that if a move was made, it would be rejected. Any man who does not want to go directly to jail without collecting $200 or passing go would believe her. Any self-respecting and woman-respecting man who was raised with any modicum of decency, when told, I'm not going to sleep with you, don't expect sex, would 100% believe that. You would have to have a death wish. You would have to want to die a painful death to even consider going for sex with the woman who in 2024 told you that there will be no sex. The consent was so revoked, it was like ultra revoked. The hard stop was placed. The barrier was put up. And you're disappointed and your self-esteem is at stake because a man did not attempt to essay you. And I guess I kind of appreciate her starting the video by saying, I'm the problem. And I recognize that this is meant to hold an element of satire. It's supposed to be a joke. And the joke is that, like, I know I told you not to, but you could have at least tried, right? Aren't I hot enough to risk getting beaten to death by the men of the community and then jailed and imprisoned for life over? Aren't I hot enough for that? Like, that's the joke, right? That's the joke that we're supposed to find funny. And it's the lack of awareness of how far it's punching down. This is punching down. This is, for once, this is not a patriarchal problem. This is not something that you can try to blame men for. It's really not. This is a toxicity created entirely of your own amalgamations. This is a homebrew of wretchedness that only you, the woman, are responsible for. This is the kind of disgusting, self-fulfilling prophecy that keeps women from being taken seriously when they are actually victimized. This is actually causing problems, and not only are you putting women in harm's way by even implying for a moment that what women really want when they say no is for you to go through with it. Actually, not only are you harming women through that implication, but you're punching down at all of the men who have received false accusations. You're punching down on men who are put in these precarious situations where their entire lives are ruined because of false accusations. Now, men who actually commit these crimes, that they're actually the ones who are kind of getting off here. You're actually kind of empowering them because now you're giving them this ammunition of, well, I mean, you see how hard the signals are to read, right? I mean, you see that the women actually want it, right? If this was a joke, I don't understand the format through which we're supposed to find the joke funny. Because in order for the joke to be found funny, it's predicated on us taking her need to feel so hot that a man literally cannot control his animalistic urges to respect her boundaries and will just take advantage of her. We need to respect that more than all of the other actual problems that this behavior causes. We're also having so many communication issues here. Like, clearly, she has this delusion that when you tell people things, that there is no expectation of them to actually think that what you're saying is serious. Like, she is absolutely continuously flabbergasted that when she tells people things, they believe them. Like, that when she tells people things, they believe her. She's like, hey, I'll come home with you, but we're not having sex. And then the next morning, she's like, you can't even try to have sex with me. And the next day, you're like, I love jazz. And then that evening, you're like, how did I end up at this jazz show? Like, it would be funny if I didn't think that this would end up with her seriously landing a man in jail. And I'm not even like gonna entertain the fact that like, oh well, it could be the man's problem too. No, whatever happens is mostly her fault. I'm noticing a consistent failure in communication versus expectations here, and it's gonna result in something terrible. Like if I had an oracle ball right now, if I was Professor Trelawney, I would be like aghast and horrified at the future that I would be looking into. Um, that's a dangerous woman right there. And that scares me, having to navigate something like that. I, that's horrifying. The only good news is that this account is starting to gain some sense of, oh, she does stand up. Oh, hello! Oh my god. Wait. Oh, was your farmer's market shift earlier?
It always ends at 2.
I thought I always ended at 3.
It used to. The new people in charge shifted it opening and closing an hour earlier.
Oh.
Keep
Well,
going. I just wanted to come kiss you on the forehead.
well, shoot. I was gonna wrap it up on that. Does anybody have any questions for the tripod while he's here? Yeah, that was a jump scare. That was a pretty tame reaction though to getting kissed mid live stream when I wasn't expecting anyone home though.
I think clearly it shows that your brain registered husband, but then it took you a second to be like, wait, husband?
That's very fair. Yeah, we had just covered a woman who got upset when she told a man that she liked jazz, so he took her to a jazz show because she didn't actually like jazz, she was just saying it. And then she also got upset when on another date she told him that she would go home with him, but that they would not be having sex, and he didn't make a move on her.
Okay.
Well, because he was supposed to at least try, right?
Well, no, not if you're...
I love that you're always like Miss Cerebellum and you just... It would be really awkward for you to crouch down at this point, I guess. You smell good and minty, though.
Thank you.
Did you just like have
Yeah.
a mint? But yeah, I was just giving my final thoughts on that.
I saw someone ask a question. The Dadvocate, I think, generally does not watch sub anime. I think she prefers dubbed. But
I do.
She watches sub. We went to go see The Boy and the Heron, and I thought that it was a dub show. Nothing on anything that we looked up said that it was subbed, and then only when we got into the theater was like, well, that sure as heck don't sound like English. And my son, our son, we'll sub anime all day. We'll watch. Like we don't care
But our
one way or the
6-year-old
other.
who's like just
Dude,
starting
he didn't care. She sat through the whole movie.
She nailed it.
She nailed it. She
I
was
was
like,
worried about her, but
what are you talking about, ew dub? Stop it. Don't be one of those people. You gotta be... The red scarf is a kafaya. And she apologized. See, it depends what dub. And that's the thing, is like, I can put on... See, and that's the thing. For some, I like subbed. For some, I like dubbed. Like, Trigun, I prefer the dub. I prefer the dub of Trigun over the sub of Trigun. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I prefer the dub as opposed to the sub. And it's just... It's one of those things where... Aw, thanks, guys. Yeah, if it's multitasking, I generally put in dub. I can put on nothing. Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho's got a great dub. Oh man, my son just started... We watched some of the manga. Oh, Vash Stampede, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, that's actually my favorite manga, is Trigun. My son just watched all of Stampede. He's watching most of the OG anime, and I just gave him my the manga to start reading.
You got y'all talking about anime again?
They wanted to know. Everybody was hissing at dub, and my thing is like, we can't be that way. You gotta appreciate both, because there's some people who might be dyslexic and they can't do sub, or some people who just can't read that fast, and it's like, it's one of those things where you got to be mindful of both. You know, you know me, I just have an ear for other languages, and so
Just one ear, though.
literally just
Because
one
you're
ear,
half
because I'm
deaf.
half deaf.
Hold on.
But it's like, but I love, I can't get enough of foreign language films and TV shows. And I got, like, honest and truly, there are some dub, at least on the English American dub side of things, that I think are better than
This cat is ridiculous.
the Japanese audio. And it's like, but there's sometimes where, like, the indulgence that they put into the Japanese language sounds a lot more natural, like when they're getting really emotive, than when they're doing it in English, just because I think even when you know, there have been Japanese people who have been like, that's not how people in Japan actually talk. It's indulged just like American cartoons are indulged. And it sounds corny to us, but I think that the way that we can kind of like indulge in the way the language is spoken, when it does get corny, I think to the ear might sound more natural in Japanese, just how you can like kind of hit some of those consonants and those syllables.
What the heck is the topic now?
Someone asked about anime sub and dub, so I was giving my little...
we were just kind of wrapping up a little bit. So just kind of rounding out the live with some chatting. Miles and his beautiful brindle booty is here. Mochi. Oh yeah, if you have the Miles or Mochi emojis, now is definitely the time to spam them. Yeah, this cat is unbelievable, to be honest. Like, what even is this? This is crazy. And he just chills like this all day. He doesn't care about anything. He's just a big old baby blob who purrs. This is such a cuddle puddle. Just sitting on my husband's lap, cuddling my cat, chatting with my amazing audience.
You know what, Seamus? I'll bet there is nothing better than 3 a.m. Star Trek in German. That sounds hilarious.
You ready to go down, Mochi?
Thanks. I love having anime minutes. I haven't done a stream in 2 weeks, and I want to do one tomorrow during my normal bat time. And I would love to talk more anime nerdy shit.
Eventually, we still have to stream Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I want to figure out how to get that looking. Do you like Cowboy Bebop? That was, listen, I'm an old, and so I'm an old. I used to like Cowboy Bebop. Like, I had watched Cowboy Bebop pre-Toonami. I was younger. But yeah, I watched Cowboy Bebop before it was on Toonami.
That was pre-Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll, that's the new age stuff that I get to watch all the things that I need to catch up on. I know, man. We had to wear.
That was even before Napster. How did you get Cowboy Bebop without Toonami?
Greg had. Listen, we went to the Motor City Comic Con. You could get the Chinese bootleg DVDs that had both Japanese and English dub with Japanese, Chinese, and English subtitles.
Damn.
Oh man, it was the way to go.
You are truly an OG weeb. That is like
Robotech. Holy shit!
Oh wow,
Whoa,
that one just
I'm
brought
sorry.
it back for me too.
Damn, I'm sorry. Robotech. That was the first thing where I was like, Rick, leave Minmay alone, dude. She ain't for you. I was watching Rick and Minmay, and I was watching Wolverine and Jean Grey. I'm like, that bitch is nothing but trouble. Leave her alone. Go, get out of here.
Oh man, I love the Bash Stampede.
Yep.
That's so perfect. All right, well, we probably got to start heading out. Any final thoughts, comments? I will say, if you haven't already, please hit like on the video down below. It really does matter. I know there's a lot more of you here than have hit like, so change it. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do that. Once you subscribe, you'll have to hit another little button to turn the notification bell on, and that will let you know when I'm doing lives and stuff like that, so that you don't have to miss stuff like this. I'll make a schedule. I'll come up with a streaming schedule.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's what the people want. It's what they voted for. So I'll try to come up with something, even if it's just like mass releasing my dates at the start of the month, not always doing the same day and time, because I got a crazy schedule sometimes. But yes, final thoughts. Do not text message your students. You don't need to be going Facebook or TikTok live in class with your students.
Oh, we watched that one, huh?
Blue toilet water is okay. You don't have to let it end your marriage, or cause your marriage any problems online. And if you tell someone something about how you feel or what you like, they will probably believe that that is how you feel and that is what you like, and you should not expect them to not believe you or to take it in some different direction, especially if the thing is consent. If you tell someone they don't have it,
Oh, period.
then do not be mad when they assume they don't have it, because they don't. Please don't be mad at people for not R-wording you.
Oh, boy.
Closing thoughts.
Oh,
Never thought I'd have to say
sure.
that.
I have a Twitch. I have a YouTube channel, too.
Yeah, sub to OTL Rook.
OTL Rook.
Someone will
I think
put it
I'm
in the
tagged in one of these videos somewhere on one of Dadvocate's pages, but
Hold on, I'm gonna put a note to myself. Add OTL Rook to recommended. That's not spelled right, but that's fine. Channels. On
I'll be your recommended. It's
Thank
okay. You're
you.
welcome.
All right.
I'll be live tomorrow talking nerdy stuff, and if people come with anime questions, I'll be answering them. Otherwise, we're gonna follow my ADHD stream of consciousness with whatever anime books I have around me, and that's all of them in the basement. So
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
As usual, I'll be chopping these up into shorter videos
You know.
later, so if you didn't want to watch it, but I will post a schedule. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below what your preferred schedule would be for
That's
me.
a great
What
idea.
days might be better and what times. As always, please email me, lauren@dadvocate.net, with any content suggestions, things you'd like to see me cover, and we will see you next time.